Welcome to the Elevate Your Leadership podcast series with U.S. Navy Special Operations veteran, CEO, and hockey fanatic Bob Pizzini. Bob discusses leadership, success, failure, defining moments, and hard lessons learned with guests who are intentional in their approach to leadership. Leadership is a perishable skill. Use it or lose it. In this series, entrepreneurs, industry executives, academics, public figures, and other highly effective professionals share their formulas for success with you.
Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Elevate Your Leadership podcast with me, your host, Bob Pizzini. Hopefully, you've watched previous episodes or listened to previous episodes. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Spotify, I'm on Apple Podcasts, I'm on all the podcast distribution channels. And if you have listened or watched in the past, you know that I love to have discussions with people who I know personally, people who have brought value to me and my organization. And by listening to the discussion, these are people who are going to bring value to you and your organization, you and your family. And really, that's what it's about today more than anything else, is family and the impacts of a military career on, in this case, the children of the family member or the children of the military member. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest. Her name is Ava Hy. Now, Ava is 18 years old. She just graduated high school and she's on her way to college. I've known Ava since she was 3 years old because our family and Ava's family, we're all family friends. Ava grew up with my kids. Everybody went to school together. And this wonderful young lady is getting ready to go play soccer at a Division I school, amongst the other cool things that we're going to talk about. I had Ava write a bio, and she did an incredible job. I'm going to read the bio real quick, and then we're going to get into an incredible discussion. And I have to say, this discussion is predicated on a previous episode that I did with Josh Lindstrom. And if you listen to that episode, it's about TBI, traumatic brain injury, and PTSD. And Josh really laid out how it was negatively impacting his behavior around his family, amongst other things, and how the treatment that he received just changed things for the better. And so Ava is going to give us the perspective of a child of somebody who has served such an incredible career and what it's like growing up in that military family. All right, so here we go. Ava is an 18-year-old Division I soccer player preparing to begin her freshman year of college this fall. She was born in San Diego, California, and raised in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Ava is a very dynamic and driven athlete, known for her speed, technical skill, and relentless work ethic. Whether playing right wing, midfield, or forward, she brings intensity, focus, and passion to every match. I should have tried to get you into ice hockey when you were younger.
I know, that's what everyone likes to say.
Ava is the youngest of 3 siblings with an older brother, who I also know very well, obviously, and an older sister who've helped guide and support her throughout her life. Ava grew up in a military family, an experience that shaped her into the resilient and grounded individual that she is today. Her father served as a U.S. Navy SEAL for 31 years, completing 8 combat deployments and dedicating his career to various SEAL teams over the years, both East Coast and West Coast, including what we call the A-Team or SEAL Team 6. His courage, discipline, and unwavering commitment have long served as a powerful example for Ava, making him one of her greatest inspirations. Just as influential is Ava's mother, whom she considers the strongest person she knows. During her father's long deployments, her mom managed everything on her own, raising 2 kids, holding the family together, and being the emotional backbone of the household. She took on the role of both parents, often in silence, never letting the weight of responsibility dim her strength. That example of quiet resilience, and resilience is a key word in military families, that example of quiet resilience left a lasting mark on Ava. Growing up as a military child came with sacrifices, and we're going to discuss those today. Fear, extended separations, and the emotional toll of war's aftermath. But it instilled in Ava a deep sense of discipline, maturity, and perspective well beyond her years. Everything she brings to the field and to life, that's the soccer field, and to life is rooted in love, strength, sacrifice, and perseverance. Ava, welcome to the Elevate Your
Hi,
Leadership
thank you so much for
podcast.
having me.
Yeah, this is cool. So as I mentioned, Ava and her family have been great friends of our family. There's like three of us. We've just been together for the last really like 19 years or so, and all our kids are the same age, son and a daughter in all three families, and they all grew up together. And so we get together on the weekends all the time. Well, this past weekend, Ava was saying how she liked the podcast, and of course we're talking about her going to school, and we thought it'd be a great idea to bring her on the podcast to discuss what we just teed up, which is what it's like growing up in a military family with a father who is on such a heavy deployment schedule and performing missions at the highest level within the U.S. military apparatus. I mean, the absolute highest demand, which really takes a toll.
Yes, sir.
So Ava, let's talk about your upbringing to begin with. I've done
Okay,
a lot of talking
sounds
to
good.
begin with. You grew up in Virginia Beach.
Yes, sir.
Besides what we just read, tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay, so I was born in San Diego, California, as we know, and then I moved here around 2011, I think that was, or 2012. I can't really remember, but I was very young. And then we lived in that Entrada house, and then we moved to the San Marco house, and then it's just been great. I love living here. All my friends are here, and I have so many military friends that live here as well. Like, I didn't realize how many people are military until I was like age 5, and then I had like a bunch of kids in my class who were all military. But I'm leave for college in 2 weeks, so I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So, aside from, I've tried to get Ava to work at iFly
for
a
like
couple
5
of times.
years.
Yeah. So we've had really great success with high school kids, and when they come home from college, it's really cool. But tell us about your employment over the years.
So when my first job was at Crumble Cookie. Do you remember when that was like a huge thing, or no? Do you not know?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Crumble Cookie was like the biggest thing ever.
You
in
brought us one. I
2020.
remember that.
Yeah. In 2020. And they opened one in Hilltop. That was our first like location, Virginia Beach. So I got a job there when I was like 13 or 14. I was like young. And so I worked there. I was making like crazy money, like for a 13-year-old. I mean, like $800. That's a lot for a 13, 14-year-old. Like,
yeah.
I had to get a worker's permit and everything.
Wow.
But I was working like 12-hour shifts there. Anyways, they kind of got into a lawsuit because they were like doing child labor laws that they were not, like, I should not have been working 12 hours till 1 a.m. But
yeah,
that's a whole different conversation.
Wow.
But I was making really good money, but I didn't know how to save it. So I kind of just like blew it and like went to the mall because I was just young. And then after that, I started working at Mahi's on 7th Street.
Yeah, okay.
I worked there for a couple of years.
Restaurant down here at the
Yeah.
Virginia Beach oceanfront.
I worked there for like 3 years, I would say.
Okay.
And then I stopped working there and I worked at Chick's for a little bit.
Okay.
But I didn't like it there.
Which is a restaurant right across the way.
Nothing like towards the restaurant. I just didn't like working there. So I went back to Mahi's and then worked there for another year. And then
What did you do at the?
I was a hostess, but then
okay.
I also did like I would also help out with like food running and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it was a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked it. It was fun. I loved my coworkers, but I just needed a new change. And then I worked at Atlantic on Pacific. It was oceanfront jobs.
Yeah.
I worked at Atlantic on Pacific for a
Okay.
couple.
That's a cool seafood place, and they have like a huge selection of whiskeys there as well.
It's a very good happy hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only go for happy hour because you get the best deal. But
Yeah.
I worked there for like a couple months, not long.
Food deals
Like,
she's talking about.
Yeah.
So.
4 to 5 months, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What'd you do there?
Hostess.
Okay.
But I learned that I didn't really like hosting because I kind of like doing like I love having a boss, but like I just like being able, like as a server, you're like, you have a boss, but like you're kind of on your own pace. So like as a hostess, it's kind of like you always like have someone like trying to like get in, but like you have your own like organization of the way you want to do it. So it's just like sometimes you guys clash heads a little bit. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, I want to get like a serving job or like something that along those lines. So my boyfriend, who goes to UVA, will be a sophomore next year. He works at Hell's Point, and he was like, "Why don't you become like a snack bar, like beverage cart girl here?" He was like, "The owner is like
Hell's Point being a golf course.
Yes, golf course." And I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." So, towards the end of my senior year this year, I applied for a job there, and I got it thanks to Will. But
That's cool.
so I got the job there, and I love it. It's like the best job I've ever had. I mean, it's so like nice because I'm like working like by myself basically.
Yeah, you're out in the
snack bar,
sunshine.
I'm the only worker at the snack bar, and then when I'm on the cart, I'm the only girl on the cart. So it's like all my coworkers are super nice, and I've never had a single problem with my boss, who is Mike. So it's great. I mean, I like it there a lot. It's a really good job.
That's cool.
I'm making good money, so I'm
Okay.
happy.
Will that be something you can do when you come home for the summers?
Yes, summertime it will be like most job. I won't work there during the winter, so when I'm coming home for like December time, I'll probably maybe get a job here.
Yeah.
So you can finally hire me. But
golf cart here too. We have the iFly golf cart.
yeah, but it's definitely a summer job. So when I come
Okay.
home from college, I'll definitely work there in the summer times.
Okay, and let's talk about the school you're going to and what you're
Yes.
going to study, which is very
Okay,
exciting.
so I'm going to St. Joe's University. It's like in Philadelphia, but it's in, I think it's Westchester. Sorry,
Okay.
don't quote me on that, but it's near Villanova and UPenn.
Okay.
But UPenn's more like in the city. But I'm studying biology, so I want to go to med school and be a dermatologist. That's the plan, but who knows? Every time someone like goes in the medical field, they can always change their mind. Like, who knows if I'll even be a dermatologist? Maybe I'll be a pathologist or
Yeah.
a surgeon or whatever I want to do. But that's the plan. I've wanted to do that since like 6th grade. So.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your experience yesterday with your mom.
Ooh. What did I do?
Wasn't that yesterday? Didn't you go to the hospital?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yesterday I went to the hospital. My mom's a cytologist, so she works under a pathologist and detects like skin cancer, does the lab smears, all that good stuff. So I shadowed a pathologist, and it was so cool. I got to hold a human heart and a human brain.
Wow.
And like look through it, and I was able to like label the parts of the brain. So
Okay.
the doctor was happy that I was able to do that. But
Okay. Was it
really cool.
was it considered a normal brain? Do you know, or was there any?
The brain looked good from what I know. I didn't really ask many questions about the brain because
Okay.
it looked healthy, but I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But the heart was very not great.
Ah.
It had a lot of plaque on it, and it was like had a lot of fat. It was a non-healthy heart. And the guy whose heart it was, he passed away at 52 years old. So he was just unhealthy.
Yeah.
Had
Yeah.
issues clearly because of the plaque on the heart. So.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So so the medical field, generally speaking, and then you could take that in several different directions.
Yes, exactly.
So you said earlier that I think you said you were 5 years older. You lived here for 5 years, and before you were aware that
Yes.
you were a military child,
Yes.
and so kind of talk us through that a little
when
bit.
I was in kindergarten, I remember like my dad, like I knew what he was doing because I have like pictures I would like send to him, and it's like artwork of me like drawing like a helicopter and then like blood's on the floor. like I knew like he was just fighting bad guys. I didn't really know like what
Yeah.
was really going on because I was so young, but I knew that it was something important because my teachers would always like have us like make certain, like same with my brother, like we would be the one student that's like making these certain cards, and like I hadn't talked to my dad in like a long time, and we would go on like Skype, and that was not normal 'cause
Right.
a lot of students were like, I was like, you don't Skype your dad? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I started to realize like at a young age that I was not different, but I just had a different family like
Yeah.
scenario. And then towards like the end of my kindergarten, going in like 1st grade, I started to realize more, but that's also when that was after 9/11. So let me think. Going to 1st grade, that's when my dad was, what year? That would be 20, what? 5th grade was 2012.
Oh,
right?
you're asking me to do math?
5th grade should be 2012.
Okay.
Right? 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 2012 was 5th grade. So 2013 is when I was in 1st grade, and my dad retired in 2017.
Okay.
So by the time my dad retired, I already knew what he was doing, obviously.
Yeah.
But in elementary school, I knew from like a long time early on, like what my dad was doing. But I just didn't know like the complete standards until you get older. That's when you learn more.
For sure.
But,
For sure.
yeah.
So, so you grew up really in Virginia Beach, born in San
Yeah.
Diego, and moved here at what age?
I think it was like 3.
Okay, yeah, age of 3.
Should be 2011.
Yeah, okay. So moved here at the age of 3. So really, the one kind of hardship of military life or one hardship of military life is moving frequently, and that's one thing you luckily avoided.
Yeah, I did. Because he wanted to finish his career on DevGru, so that's why we did move here in 2011.
Yeah, okay. And obviously spent a lot of time there at that command and resulting in multiple deployments. So, and that gave us, you and all of us really, because I was active duty, around that time frame as well. But it gave us all kind of this stability. A lot of people, like where my family's from in Wisconsin, your brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and cousins, everybody lives in proximity, and kind of that's your immediate family. And in our case,
you guys are like family to me.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're all immediate family, and it's a blessing, really, in military life, as far as I'm concerned. You really get close with really good people, and they do literally become your family. The family dynamic, however, can be very challenging with military deployments, and especially with some of the hardships that service members go through.
Yeah.
And was there a point where you thought, wow, this is heavy?
Yes, for sure. I mean, like when I was like, I remember this in San Diego. I mean, I was like 2 years old, I think. Maybe 3. I don't really know, but I knew I could walk. But my dad just came home from a deployment, and when he would come home, I mean, I love my dad, he's great, but he would definitely be a little bit angry, but that's 100% allowed to happen. I mean, I would be angry if I was over in Iraq too. But I remember one time, like I asked him for to get me chocolate milk, and he was like watching his podcast or whatever, like watching the news, and it's just like CNN being crazy, and like he's just all mad, and he's like, no, get it yourself. And then like next thing I know, like I can't get chocolate milk myself, like I'm 2 years old, so it's spilling all over the floor, and he's yelling, and my mom's like, Johnny, like she can't do that. And then so that's when he like realized, like, oh my gosh, like I'm back home, like I need to be a dad. So like I think that was like when it turned like heavy. Like I just like remembered these like little things.
Yeah, little moments. So I will also say that back then, we didn't go through kind of a decompression when we, you'd be in the war zone one day, and you'd be in your living room the next day.
And so many Navy SEALs have dealt with that, and I think it's just such a thing that they need to expand on doing, and I think they've done that more now, but it sucks for the people who served and didn't get that help.
For sure. Even when I came home from Iraq, which was 2009, I had to spend 2 weeks in, was it Doha? I had to spend 2 weeks somewhere, kind of chilling out and getting ready to be home and not freak out because somebody left a light on.
Exactly. And that's just such a big switch that I feel like a lot of them didn't get, and they needed that.
Yeah,
so
for
I
sure.
think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I went through that too. It's there's something called hypervigilance, right? When you're in the war zone, you're hypervigilant.
You're so focused.
Yeah, head on a swivel.
I can't even imagine.
Every little noise, every little sound,
Needs something.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's hard to shut that off.
For sure.
When you come home, and it does make it challenging in the family dynamic. And Josh and I discussed that quite a bit. I also know that your dad is an incredible sportsman, and you have hunting and fishing skills.
Yes,
and
I'm very good at sniping.
Yeah, and you have shooting
brag,
skills.
But I'm very good at sniping, and I think it runs in the blood. I really do, because my mom's a really good sniper. I'll tell a funny story. Basically, my dad was a sniper for the SEAL teams, and during his training the guys and buds, my mom was there. This was, I think they were dating. I don't know if they were engaged yet, but my dad took the guys out shooting, and none of the guys could hit the target. It was like 1,200 feet away. And then so my dad called my mom up, and all the guys were like, oh, who's this woman, John? Like, she's not gonna hit the target. And then on her second try, she hits it. And then my dad was like, okay, you guys all need to pack up. It's time to go. And then they went and celebrated with cocktails after. But no, I really do think it runs in the blood, because my dad took me hunting my first time on an elk my freshman year of high school. Never, he surprised me and my brother with sniper rifles, and never hunted an animal like that before.
Where did you go elk hunting?
Wyoming, 10 Sleep.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you get an elk?
Yes, I did. I got it first shot in the heart. So
Wow.
it was just, he said I'd be shaking and nervous, but that did not happen to me.
No kidding. You were
Yeah,
calm
no.
and cool and
And then I also got a mule deer that year as well, but that shot was really hard because there was one behind it, so I had to make sure the bullet didn't go through or I hit the other the other mule deer, because then I'd be in a lot of trouble with the hunting game. All
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
it's
But
you're
I got that one first shot in the heart too. So
wow.
it was amazing.
So for the elk, how did you then field dress it and get it out and get it out of there?
So after I shot it, my dad's like, load another one. And he's like, wait, no, you got it. It's going down. It's going down. And it's like, we have it on video. It's like the funniest video ever. But I just was so excited. It was just such a cool feeling. But then you always say a prayer after, and you bless the elk and God for giving you this chance. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, if you've been hunting, you know what I'm talking about.
For sure.
But after one of his buddies that was with us was actually in the SEAL teams with my dad as well when we were hunting. So they were making me gut the elk.
Yeah.
And I can shoot it, but it's a little hard to like take a saw with this huge animal and like saw it open. So I did it for a couple of seconds, and my dad's friend kept telling me to do it, and then I have like tears going down my face because it's steaming, like it's just crazy. And then my dad was like, okay, Ava, you don't have to do it anymore. So I stopped and my dad finished the job. But it's great because it's on a ranch, so it was just easy. Like it's like you're on your it's so cool. And they just got it out, and then we took it back out from the tractor or whatever we used.
Okay, you didn't have to backpack it out of there.
No,
Okay.
no, that would be a mess. We would need an ATV for that.
Yeah, or like a bunch of big dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
So wow, okay, cool. So and then fishing, I remember there's a bunch of lakes in and around. So
I actually just saw a photo the other day of like me, Dominic, and Zach holding a fish behind Senior Fox.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Always go fishing there. Yeah.
Exactly, and your brother used to. I've got a 1/4-acre pond on my
Oh,
property.
he loved that pond.
Yeah.
He would always come over and fish. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that's very cool. So your skills, I mean, your dad taught you well in terms of hunting and fishing and sniping and game, just outdoors, really.
Yes. We were such a big I mean, I went hunting. I didn't get to shoot anything, obviously, because I was young. But, like, when my dad was home, like, we would go hunting, like, for deer all the time. And I was, like, 5?
Yeah.
Like, we'd always go on these hunting trips. But I'm so glad I got to do that because not a lot of children do that. And so they don't really get to experience outdoors. And that's, like, a big thing today. Like, a lot of kids are, like, stuck inside, like, on their phones, stuff like that. So I'm just glad that I had a family who pushed me to be outside and do all that kind of stuff. So it's really great.
Okay, so we all grew up together, and I've seen all of us really do some great things, get through some struggles.
Yeah.
We lift each other up, we help each other out. You mentioned how your dad inspires you in so many different ways. Can you talk about some of the ways that he inspires you?
I just think like his grit through everything he's been through. I mean, like he's been a great like father, and then just like like I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of just like an internal feeling, but like every time I don't want to do like a last run in soccer or stuff like that, like I just think about my dad and like, oh my gosh, he went to Afghanistan for 8 months and like was carrying like 100 pounds on his back through up these mountains. I can make this last run. Like I don't have weight on. So like things like that, like I will be like, okay, we gotta go. Like like it really helps me in the sports way because like I'm like, if he could do that, I could do this. Does that make sense?
That is a great
stuff like that. Like that's why he's like one of my biggest inspirations for sure.
That is I think that is a great example.
Yeah.
And then your mom. Tell us how your mom inspires you.
Oh my gosh. My mom, we are literally like the same person. We look like the same person.
Yeah.
I always say, Mom, you look like me. And she's like, no, you look like me.
Yeah.
I'd sometimes forget she's the one.
Yeah, she's right.
No, but she's such a badass. I mean, like she raised me and my brother. I mean, everything she went through and like dealing with like being a Navy SEAL's wife, like she never made that her whole personality. Like not in a rude way, I'm not calling anyone out, but there's certain people that we've met that tend to make Navy SEALs being their wife is their whole life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like they glorify it and they like they go around talking about it, but my mom was never like that. Like she built her own career, her own life. Like
for sure.
She moved to Virginia Beach because my dad wanted to finish his career out here, and that's her sacrificing her own career in San Diego, and I think that just speaks volumes of who she is. Like,
Yeah.
And it's not like, but she always did it in silence. It's not like she was posting on Facebook. Like, she never really posted my dad and everything, like stuff like that on Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
she just did everything in silence, and I think that coming back from everything she's been through, and like, it's just so inspiring. Like, she's amazing, and I like would never change who my mother is, and ever. Like, she's great.
Yeah, no, she's awesome, and obviously her and Julie, who is my wife,
Best
you know,
friends.
they're besties, yeah, and it's really cool. So, and then when we I gotta get my thought here. All right. So when your dad was getting ready to go on deployment, there's all these phases we go through,
Yeah.
you know, as a military family. And even as the service member, Navy SEAL, I was Navy EOD, Navy Special Operations, pre-deployment, you're gone all the time doing training. We're training either locally, but overnight, you know, for multiple days, or most often we're training in other parts of the country getting ready for deployment. So we go through this pre-deployment training, so we're gone for that. And then we deploy, so we're gone for that, and then we come home. So there's these different phases of energy and interaction within the family. So can you talk a little bit about like pre-deployment, deployment, and then post-deployment?
Honestly, pre-deployment, I don't know if I can remember too much about that.
Okay.
That's kind of a blur for me. I just remember us like dropping him off and me crying, like stuff like that, because my mom, like, we knew like there's a chance he might not come home.
Yeah.
But pre-deployment, I can't really give much information. I'm sure my brother could, but I can't.
Yeah.
He was older than me. But but what was so great about my mom is she was so good about like not making it a big deal. Does that make sense? Like, not in a bad way, not making it a big deal, but like she was like such a strong foundation for our family that like we weren't really like it wasn't a big mess. Like, he was gone, we cried, but then like it, like, we weren't crying about it every day. Like, she made sure we move on with our lives, and that's like why it's so great. But while he was gone, I mean, obviously my mom was still working. She still had to like afford to have 2 kids, so in San Diego she would still work, and we had a nanny and stuff like that. So I just remember that throughout deployment, like having to be taken care of. And then post deployment, I just like craziness, like just like coming home, like, as you said, they make you do now like stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't think my dad got into that. So it's like, because a lot of Navy SEALs, they don't think they need that too.
Right.
So it's like hard to transition from being in Afghanistan and things blowing up and you seeing children being killed, and then coming home and you have 2 kids, and now you're probably worried about that. So it's like post deployment, it was kind of just like taking us out to lunch, going fishing, like trying to be nice, but then there would be times where it was just like crazy. And I also remember like in San Diego, we had like this like backyard patio, and I just remember like my dad and his friends would like stay up really late and like drink and like talk about whatever, and then my mom's like, you need to go to bed, don't go out there. So like I just remember stuff like that. And then like
it's pretty par for the course, you know, pretty standard across the communities.
Exactly. And I just feel like, honestly, like post deployment, it was just like the news, the podcast, the broadcast, like all that stuff was always playing. Like, what's gonna happen next? Where am I? Like, I think that's what my dad was very focused on. And I mean, I understand, like, who wouldn't be if you did what he did. So I think that was like one of the big things that I like saw. And like I don't know, when I hear like a news broadcast, like I just remember us being in what was it? Volcano Sushi, and my dad just came home, and we were sitting there, and we weren't facing the TV, and he was, and then everything was fine, and then CNN came on and started saying all this stuff, and next thing I know, my dad's like, oh my God, and it's like so bad. He's like, turn that off. So there was moments like that I really remember post deployment. But
what about the danger factor? Was there a point when you realized that, you know, your dad's life was in jeopardy? You know?
Out, like being at home?
Overseas. Overseas.
I mean, yes. Like I knew that there was a chance of that. Like, I always knew there was a chance of him not coming home. Like, I had that fear, and not a lot of children in my class had that fear, because obviously our dads were doing different things. But once again, my mom was really good at just like keeping us like secure and like not letting us be insecure about that kind of thing.
Not lamenting over.
Very good at like making us feel confident that he's going to come home, and she was very good at not like crying that he's gone, or like she never really showed worried of him not coming home, because she knew. I think she just had this gut feeling and knowing that God was looking out over him, because there's multiple times he should have been killed, but he was lucky enough to make it out.
Yeah,
and he says that to me all the time.
No, some of the things that have happened. There's and then there's a lot of people who have been killed.
Yes.
And that's, that's something. Obviously, I've gone to several memorial services. Did you attend any?
Yes, I have. Extortion.
Yeah.
We went to one of my dad's friend's funerals who was killed in that helicopter.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I just remember there was a lot of people dying, and my dad would never cry, but like he would cry like only over that. So like, sorry.
That's all right.
Chris Campbell, do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't believe I.
Okay, well, we went to his funeral in North Carolina.
Okay.
I just remember like my dad. There was so much going on, and oh my gosh, sorry, Bob.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay. Woo. Okay. And I'm running around the funeral getting snow cones. Like, it's like fun for me because I have no idea what's going on, but like, for my dad, it's like a whole mess because there's so much going on. And the next thing you know, it's like he's gonna have to go back out after this happened. Like, there's so much factors that like played into that. But I just remember those were like fun for me because I didn't really understand. And there's snow cones and sugar, and I'm just a child running around this funeral. But I also learned that it was something that was not good at the same time, because every time that would happen, that meant something was not not good happened over there. So and that I'll never forget when I went to Iraq. I think my kids were eight or nine, something like that. Oh, so they were old.
They were a little bit older, and right? No, they were actually no, they were four. They were 4 years old. They were 4 or 5. Yeah, they were 4 or 5. But Transformers were a big thing then.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And my son had this ambulance transformer, and he gave that to me. He said, "Dad, this will keep you safe."
That's so sweet.
Yeah, so I lost it.
Still rocks you to that day.
Oh, I lost it at that moment. Yeah, that was a tough one. So kind of fast forwarding a little bit, now you're a young adult, you're in high school, you're a teenager, and you're obviously seeing and thinking and reasoning things. Was there a kind of an awakening in high school or around that time frame to where you said, man, this is really different, or this is
yeah. I think like my junior year of high school, I started to realize like what I've been through as like a child, and like leading up to this age, and like just seeing how like my dad changed over the years. I think that was really hard to like process. But I think that was like a big awakening. And then my senior year, I started to be able to like evaluate it more and like understand what went on and like what happened and like which deployments happened and because of what. And I just remember sitting in some of my senior classes this year, and we would be talking about these wars, and my econ teacher has things to say, and I'm like, that is incorrect. But I'm just smiling and nodding and just like, okay, I'm just not gonna overspeak because I need the A in this class. So there's definitely been times like that where I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna smile and nod. But,
yeah.
I think my senior year was really just a big awakening of like, oh my gosh, you have been through so much, and like you handled that very well, and not everyone could handle what you've been through in that position, because I never really spoke about that type of stuff like to people, just because I wanted to feel like normal in a way. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but like I didn't want to like be like, oh, like my dad like went through all this stuff, like so I never really like spoke about it. But towards the like end of this year, I got way better at speaking about it. So, I mean, I think that's when I like realized for sure.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job now.
Thank you.
And the fact that you volunteered and you're a willing participant, that says a lot. And really what we want to do, part of this discussion, is to help other military families who are going to experience similar hardships, although, these violent wars are not being fought at the moment, but there are, U.S. military members around the world serving in various capacities.
And I know there's like other children my age that's been through this stuff with the SEAL teams, and it's not a talked about thing, I feel like. It's not. Really not.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, a lot of the attention is on the service member, as it should be. But this resiliency that families are now exposed to, and there's programs and things for families to go through together
now, but it wasn't like a big thing during my time.
Didn't exist.
No.
Yeah, it didn't exist. And
it was not a thing, and I feel like it should be almost like a required thing. Like if you're doing this, you have to go to these meetings and stuff like this after, because it's like, not everyone thinks they're crazy when they're you know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
When people come home from deployment, they like think it's like what they're dealing with is completely normal, but it's not. And I think that if there was these like meetings or things that we could have gone to, it could have been a completely different outcome.
For sure. Yeah. And that does exist now. And
that's great.
Yeah, it's what to expect. And again, my experience when I came home, thank God I had hockey. I had ice hockey.
You had a like
an outlet.
Something to do, a hobby.
Yeah. And especially on the ice, because on the ice you're exerting a lot of energy. You're hyper vigilant. Your head's on a swivel.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about anything else other than just what's going to happen in that moment on the ice. So we through that retired Navy SEAL Ryan Crowley created Warrior for Life Fund, and that's a foundation that uses.
I know his Crowley. That he has a daughter.
Yeah, sure does.
Plays soccer at Cullum.
That's right. She's about your
I
age.
know her. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm friends
exactly.
with her.
So he created Warrior for Life Fund, and it's really to use ice to help veterans through sport and community. Sport being ice, community being fellowship. Let's sit down and have a coffee, and let's talk about different things. And there's a lot of guys like your dad, and a lot of other Navy SEALs. People who need they
assistance.
They need assistance, but they willingly accept it from their teammates.
Yeah, not from like someone who hasn't dealt with that.
Exactly, or some clinician, who comes in out of nowhere and says and starts
telling you what's wrong with you. You're not gonna want to
giving you all this
accept it,
programming.
for sure.
So Ryan was like, hey, we need a community of
people who's experienced similar things.
Exactly.
So that's why they can really get to that person.
Exactly.
And that's beautiful.
And that's resulted in
tremendous
it's
excellence.
It's people with alcohol issues, and people with anger issues, and people with all these different things. It gives them a place to be comfortable to say I do need help, and so Warrior for Life Fund. So awesome organization, by the way. If you want to check it out, Warrior for Life Fund, you can check out all the socials and donate or contribute in some capacity. Warrior for Life Fund, by the way, official partner of the NHL.
That's great.
Incredible.
Cool.
And we have a relationship with the Boston Bruins Alumni Association, also a partner. And I don't know if you can see my Bruins jersey. No, it's just out of the screenshot, but Warrior for Life Fund right here. Yeah. So a lot of good stuff. Ava, what haven't we talked about? What else would you like to share with people you don't know, people you do know? Is there anything we left unsaid?
Let me take a second to think really
okay.
fast.
All right.
Things that
while you do that, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
I want to take a minute to tell you about my book titled Elevate Your Leadership: How to Develop, Maintain, and Advance Lifelong Leadership. This book is based on my 26 years in U.S. Navy Special Operations and now 13 years in the private sector. Leadership is a perishable skill and a personal brand. In part 1, I guide you through building and applying your personal brand of leadership.
Leadership also requires physical energy and mental clarity. In part 2, I go over the 6 key components of health and wellness and how you can apply these components every single day to become a great leader. This book is also breathable. What does that mean? It's 170 pages, 12-point font, with charts and graphs and pictures to break up the monotony of reading page after page. Finally, this book is available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and of course, RobertPizzini.com.
Folks, I want to take a minute and talk about Breeden Construction. Breeden Construction built iFly Virginia Beach 10 years ago, and our building is solid. Why? Building a standard. Our standard is excellence. Visionary thinking, innovative design, dynamic solutions, and transformative growth. While others may see lofty ideals, we see the very foundation needed to construct a better future. This isn't just a promise we make to you, it's the standard we uphold. This is Breeden Construction. Learn more at breedenconstruction.com. Headquartered in Virginia with offices throughout Virginia and North Carolina, you can contact Breeden Construction directly at area code 804-364-4600. Breeden Construction, a national general contractor. So growing up, once again, in a military family, in a military community, a lot of kids you went to school with, also military, but a lot of kids not military.
Not military.
Yeah. So what's, is there a difference between your friends who come from military families and your friends who don't?
I would definitely say so, yes. I think that family standards and certain things are different. Like my friends who aren't military, love them to death. Like they're amazing, they're great. We just grew up differently, so it's hard to understand sometimes what I have to say, if that makes sense. But they're very compassionate and they really have helped me. But it's good that they haven't gone through that because I'm able to talk about my feelings and everything that I've went through, and it's great because they give me that great support. And then I feel with some military families, it can just sometimes things can get a little bit confusing because some people went through different things and it just turns into an argument kind of type thing. And it's just when it's not about that, I think there's just been times where people just go through different things, and obviously there's different branches of the military and all that good stuff. So I just think some military friends, I know some people who kind of like to brag about stuff like that and post it everywhere, but it's that's not what it's about. And then but my non-military friends, they're great. I mean, I love them. I just think that it's really important to have them in my life because they help me disassociate from this whole military
for sure.
Yeah. And they give really good perspective, and also we living 2 different lives, it just shows how crazy it just shows how crazy it is. They never dealt with that. It's just so cool. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. There's there's kind of a normalness.
Yeah, it's just normal crazy. That's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, like a normalness. I will say this, my experience here in the Virginia Beach area, by the way, we're recording in Virginia Beach, Virginia, in the podcast studio high atop iFly Virginia Beach down here at the oceanfront, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. But this community, the non-military people in this Virginia Beach community are very supportive.
They very are, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of programming. The city itself has programs, specific and geared towards military. So a very military-friendly community, is really an understatement. It's a community that supports, through and through 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's really important. But also it's sometimes you want to get a break from all that because Virginia Beach, obviously, naval, Norfolk, it's our biggest naval base. Sometimes it's nice to just get away and
for sure
get away from all that stuff because it's it's been your whole life. So it's it's nice to get a break, but it's great that I have this really good supporting community around me. So that's really important.
Yeah, no, it's good to get go to the heartland, see how the rest of America looks and lives.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just so funny because my boyfriend, his family is picture perfect. Love them to death. Like, they are literally the best people I think I've ever met. And like, it's just so funny because it's like he's dating like this girlfriend who has like crazy family. Like, oh nope. Like, it's just funny to see how things were just different. But it's like, that's such a beautiful thing. So it's like opposites attract. Like, it's just crazy how like certain things come together. But no, it's great.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else? Is there anything you want to share that we haven't discussed?
I just think that like, I know there's other people who've dealt with stuff like me and they don't really talk about it because they don't feel like it's okay, or like it's just, you have a lot of pressure to talk about this sort of type of thing. And I think it's really important to express your feelings because for the longest time, like, I built them up personally, and then like I would have little breakdowns, like literally trying to film this podcast. Like, even though I've gotten so much better about talking about it, it's like sometimes I still like get emotional talking about it. So I think it's like really important to like talk about your feelings, or then you're gonna end up like this and you don't want to cry. It's embarrassing. I don't like crying. I've always thought not to cry. So I think it's really important to express your feelings and talk about them for sure.
Yeah, good. Okay. All right. Well, Ava, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, this was great. I mean, I got like a free little therapy session in it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was great.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Ava Hy, thank you so much for being on the Elevate
It was great.
Podcast.
I love this. It was really good. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Elevate Your Leadership podcast. To contact Bob directly or to learn more about how Bob can advance you and your organization through leadership training, team building, executive coaching, and public speaking, visit robertpizzini.com. Robert, Pizzini.com, and connect with him on LinkedIn.